Go. This is my my own personal quarter mile. Make this turn. There's cars out in front of us though, so. All right, gang. I've been thinking about trying to do this video for a while. Basically, I just wanted to do like a POV of the 2014 Shelby that I have. This April will be 2 years since I've had it, and I really haven't done like any sort of content with it. So yeah, I'm gonna see if we can go for a drive and see how the video comes out. But I figure we gotta at least give it a cold start. So let's give that a shot. All right, well, I think that's about as good as it's gonna get. Hopefully once I get out the garage, the light will change, give us a little bit more lighting in here as well. Let's throw some sunglasses on just for the heck of it. Still nice out, still early. So yeah, this is my 2014 GT500. Everything is pretty much original. Whoever had it before me, I did get it, obviously I got it used. Well, not obviously, but I did get it used. Whoever had it before me installed this aftermarket deck, which is okay. I kind of wish it was still original, but it is what it is. The one good thing about it though, if you can see from the screen, they did add a reverse camera. So that is actually really helpful. I do like that. Those were not, reverse camera was not standard on this car. So it's kind of cool to have that. But I bought it with about 28,000 miles, and we are at 36,633. So, and again, I've had it just under 2 years. So that's less than 10,000 miles on it. So I've tried to baby it pretty well. We need an oil change, but we won't worry about that today. So I've been wanting, like I said, I wanted to make this video for a little while. Let's see how the light changes as we go. I tried to put the seat back as much as I possibly could, so to give as best a view as I could. So hopefully that works. But I just wanted to make this video and kind of tell how I got it, why I got it, and you know, go from there. There's been some things that's been on my mind with this car as of recently, and I'll just, not to beat around the bush, but not sure if I'm gonna keep it or not. And for all my car people out there, I know somebody's losing their mind, probably in the comments saying, you better not sell that car, keep that car. And I'm with you. Don't even get me wrong, I'm with you. But so when my wife and we had really thought about wanting another car, we wanted, you know, something kind of fun. Wanted something that we knew wasn't gonna be a daily driver. She always liked the Mustang. Of course, I consider myself somewhat of a car guy, and I've always loved Mustangs as well. My brother had a 07 GT that was pretty cool, and you know, so we got thinking about it, got talking about it more and more, and sorry, I'm double checking the mic over here. Got talking about it more and more. And, you know, I started looking at Mustangs, and a friend of ours, who actually doesn't live that far away, he actually has, I think the 2020, it's either 2021 or 2022 GT500. And that's kind of what sparked it. Obviously, that was not going to be in our price range, which was fine. And so I came across these Mustangs, this Shelby, and like every video I watched on them, you know, they were just raving about them, how awesome these cars are. The last Mustang, the last Shelby that was a stick shift, you know, this car was built to go 200 miles an hour It was built to do 0 to 60 in first gear, just a straight beast, right? And so I was like, you know what? Like, if we're gonna get a car that I know is not gonna be a daily driver, gonna be kind of a fun car. This was pretty much in our price range, and I was just like, man, that sounds good to me, right? So my wife was on board. She can't even drive a stick shift, and at the time, the plan was to try to teach her. I did that one time, and it didn't go that well. Not that we argued or anything like that, but she just couldn't get it, and she was like, yeah, that was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. She's never driven a stick shift, so her starting out on a GT500 with 662 horsepower was probably not ideal, but she tried. But so we ended up getting the car. I took my time. It wasn't a rush, obviously. You know, again, I knew I wasn't going to. This was going to be a special car, and you know, I wasn't just gonna buy it off of a whim. We really thought about it. I really considered the expense and all that stuff. Looked around, kept looking around, and I found this one, and took some time, but I was able to get it down to the price that I felt I was willing to pay. This was, again, when I got it, it had 28,000 miles on it, which was really good. So I got I felt like I got what I wanted for it. Another funny story about this car, though. When I first originally went to go look at it and did a test drive, I hadn't driven a stick shift in like 10 years. So I was very nervous, of course. And I was very nervous. And so I didn't really have a good feel for it at all, but I got it, I was able to drive it around enough. And one of the workers there made a comment and was like, oh, I think this car actually, has a new clutch. And I didn't really think much of it, but at the time I was like, hey, 28,000 miles and it has a new clutch? I mean, what's up with that? But, these clutches can get burned out if you're out there doing, donuts and track stuff a lot and whatnot. So it is what it is. And then, so during the negotiation process, I remember asking the sales guy about that. And I said, can you confirm that? And then he was like, he basically said, no, that's not true. Whatever. And I was like, okay. Didn't really think too much of it. Long story short, ended up settling on the deal, bought the car. First night, literally on my way home, so I could tell something wasn't right. Again, I hadn't driven a manual in a very long time, but I could just tell something was not right. And basically, I would, shift into gear, and it would just, the RPMs would rev, but my speed wouldn't go up. I call one of my buddies who's really good with cars, and he actually, held my hand the entire time, just kind of convincing me to get it, or, whether I should or shouldn't. And I hit him up and I told him what was going on. Literally called him that night as we were driving home from the dealership. And he was like, yeah, dude, it sounds like your clutch is blown out. So we got the car home. Mind you, this dealership wasn't that close. It was, I think, close to an hour away from us. Got the car home. We called the dealership back, and my friend actually helped me. He three-wayed me and, helped me, help me bitch him out a little bit. So the next morning they were like, okay, just bring it down. We'll check it out for you. And the clutch was so bad that I couldn't even make it back to the dealership. And I had to pull over on the side of the freeway because I could not make it back there. They had to tow it back, and it ended up, again, long story short, but it ended up being about a month before they fixed it. Obviously, they did it on their own. I didn't have to pay nothing, obviously. And but it took about a month because they're a dealership. They told me whatever, oh, it's hard to find, blah, 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 blah. At the end of the day, I'm sure that it was not a priority for them. They were going to get to it when they get to it. And it wasn't that big of a deal. I knew it wasn't a daily driver, but I did want the car. So I waited, and all was fine, and it's been fine ever since. So that's the backstory on that, at least. But, we're coming up on 2 years with this car. We're a young family. And, you know, there's things that we've considered doing and that we want to do. I'm going to have to turn the AC. Hopefully I can't really hear it. It's not too bad out there, but it's actually warm outside. There's just things that we would like to do around the house and things like that. And, you know, even when I get to the 2-year mark, I'm still going to have 3 year. I did a 5-year, you know, 5-year loan on it with our bank. And so now I'm just kind of getting to the point where the car itself is, man, it's extremely fun, because every time I even start having the thoughts of like, oh yeah, maybe it's time to get rid of it. You know, we don't need to be spending this kind of money. We could be doing a lot more. We could be saving, blah, 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 blah. As soon as I get in to drive it, like all of those thoughts disappear. And I'm just like, man, this car is just something else. Like, the power you get from it, it's extremely fun to drive a manual. Every once in a while, I have a Tesla and a Ford Expedition, and, you know, hopping in this and, you know, getting on the freeway and punching it, doing downshifts, and like all that stuff is extremely fun. It takes all those thoughts of potentially wanting to sell it. Those, I mean, they just disappear. Like, that's how fun this car is. And that's how, and you just know, with a car like this, you know, it's a very special car. This is not your average, you know, GT Mustang. If we had gotten just a GT, I don't even think it would be really that hard of a decision to be like, you know what, let's get rid of it. We could literally get another one anytime. You can't just get a Shelby anytime. And, you know, especially I found this one with the mileage that it had. You know, there's other ones with low mileage, but they're going to be extremely expensive for for the mileage. So for the mileage that I found, the price that I found, everything was fine for me at the time, was fine for us at the time, and it still is. But, you know, I just get those thoughts of, you know, a need versus want, and the thought of, you know, my payment is pretty high. I'm not going to lie. So full transparency, I ended up finding the car, everything out the door was $55,000 even. That's what I worked the deal to. They had the price, I can't remember now, but it was at one price, and then they had brought it down a little bit, and then they brought it down like a whole $2,000 or $3,000 online. And then I waited again, and they brought it down like literally $5. It was weird, but that told me, I was like, man, they really want to get rid of this car. This is a very specific car to a very specific buyer. So, you know, I think it had been on the dealership lot for quite a while. So when we worked the deal out, went through some hoops, you know, they were kind of giving me fits with it and stuff like that. But we ended up working out, I felt it was good enough. Again, 55 out the door. Again, that was taxes, licensing fees, all that stuff. It was 55 out the door. I had a pre-approval from Navy Federal. I ended up putting some money down to get it where, you know, I wanted to, so that I could get my payment. So my payment's essentially about $1,000 a month. So that's kind of where I'm at, and in thinking, you know, is this something that I want to continue paying for literally, you know, essentially another 3 years? My truck is paid off. The Tesla is not, but that payment is only like, it's like $400 a month or something like that. So essentially we have 2 car payments, equaling about $1,400 a month. So I suppose if you break it in half, $700 for 2 car payments is probably, well, that's a lot for some people. But it's probably pretty average, you know. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm way out of line on that one, so I apologize. But, you know, I'm very appreciative for what we have and what we've been able to do. This is an absolute luxury, so I know that. It's not a necessity by any means. But when you have something like this and something that you know is it's just different and it's special, especially to the car community and the car world. I think I've seen, for this one specific, any Shelby really, I've seen a couple of the GT350s just around when I'm driving, but they're still pretty rare. the GT500, even the newer ones, I don't see those very often. And I live in Southern California. You know, there's nice cars a lot. You know, you see Hellcats a lot, but you just don't see a Shelby. And driving this car again, you know, for what it is and driving it, man, it's just fun. I'm cruising right now because I'm talking. I'm trying to find out one of my areas that I do like to do, you know, some pulls and go a little bit faster. Hopefully the road is empty so that we can do that and have a little bit of fun before I get off for the drive. But yeah, I mean, like this car is just different, man. It really is. Now I suppose, even though I did say I have a young family, actually I have my son's car seat back here. As we get older, you know, that's another thing. You know, we're on the go a lot, and obviously this is not a daily driver. I live about 40 miles one way for my job. So 40 miles one way just for my job. Like, I'm not daily driving this. Wouldn't even be able to afford it for when it comes to gas. But again, with a car like this, you know it's special, so you're gonna avoid unnecessary driving, I guess you could say. I'm not by any means just gonna let it sit. Like, I bought it to enjoy it, so I'm going to drive it, and I do take it out to work every once in a while. But you know, you do want to preserve it to an extent. You want to enjoy it, but you do want to preserve it to an extent. So that's kind of what I've tried to do. Not driving it crazy, not driving it I've never done a donut in it. I've gone fast, which I'm about to do as long as there's no cars out here. This is like a perfect road for this, honestly. I hope you guys can see it. I tried to do my best with the camera. But you can see this is a nice straightaway. We can probably get some supercharger wine right now. Let's see. So that was almost 100 miles an hour right there. I don't know what I was rolling at. But just even something like that, man, you do that in this car, and it's quick, it's responsive, it's easy. They literally, you know, I sound like an old person saying they don't make them like I used to. They really don't make these like they used to. This was the last manual Shelby, 162 horsepower off the lot. I haven't done anything to tweak this car at all. Haven't really cared to. I've thought about some things, but again, I spend enough as it is on it, and I don't mind. Well, let's see if I can. So here we go. This is my my own personal quarter mile. Make this turn. There's cars out in front of us though, so. I mean, that was 100 miles in third gear. Like, it was really like, and it had more left, but I don't have any room. I'm running out of room and cars in front of me. But I mean, this car is just literally a straight line beast. And when I do stuff like that, it just is like, it's hard to want to get rid of something like that. It really is. So I don't know. Give me some advice in the comments. Well, anyways, I don't know how your advice is really going to help me, but what do you guys think? I'm heading back home. It'll probably take me another few minutes to get home. Something else I was going to mention. So like this car, if you've seen it, I'll probably add a couple clips in, you know, after I get out, I'll do another walk around. The front end of this car it's fine, but it's missing I'm missing the front end splitter. So it looks a little funny from the front end. It looks a little derpy, if you will, because it doesn't look like your normal Shelby because it's missing that front splitter that makes it, you know, makes it pop and gives it that extra aggression. And what happened was we were driving on the freeway somewhere, and there was some debris, and I had no choice but to go, you know, over it, go through it. And I don't even remember what it was, couldn't tell. But this car being what it is and being very low, I didn't really have a choice. So I just went through it, and I heard a bump or, you know, heard a noise as we did go over it. And when I got to my destination, I hopped out, I looked, everything seemed fine. I didn't really notice anything. And then like a day or two later, I noticed that there was a huge chip in the front splitter. So what I'm guessing is it cracked it. It didn't fly right off. And then just as I drove it again, it probably fell off on its own. So anyways, I got with the insurance and I had them, you know, we started a claim. Obviously I had to pay the deductible. They took care of everything else, but the problem was whoever had this before me had an aftermarket splitter on it. And they weren't able to pay, they weren't able they couldn't order that to put it on. And then apparently they couldn't find the splitter, or it was like out of stock, the original one or something like that. I can't remember what they said, but they couldn't get it to me. So my insurance paid me out. And they gave me what, you know, when they looked it up, whatever the price is for, you know, a splitter, the original splitter. So they paid me for it. I just haven't gotten around to buying it because I'm like, okay, do I want a different one? Do I want to get the same one that I had before, which I actually really did like? It looked really good. The one that I had, whoever had it before me, it was kind of beat up a little bit. So at some point it kind of needed to be replaced, I think, anyways. I don't know if the only thing is it hung pretty low, so it definitely would scrape when I would, you know, come out of a driveway or something like that. So that's why I was like, maybe I'll just get one that is a little bit more stock, that still looks really good, but I can avoid, you know, the scraping. But I just haven't gotten around to it. And again, now I'm here talking about whether or not I'm going to keep it. So it just hasn't been a necessity. It doesn't affect how the car drives, at least for me. You know, I don't track it. I don't do anything really too crazy in it. Do a couple pulls here and there just to have some fun. But yeah. So the other thing that wasn't stock are the rims. That one I was a little bit disappointed on. I think if I was to go back and buy, I don't mind the entertainment center so much. But the rims, man, I really do like the original rims that come with this car. They're very specific to the GT500 of this year and of this model. So I was a little bit disappointed that now that I've had some, at the time when I bought the car, I didn't care. I just was like, man, the car is awesome. I want the car. And then after some time, oh man, the gates aren't going to stay open on me and I don't have the right code. Oh boy. Yeah, I don't think my code is going to work because we've had an issue with these codes. Let's see. Oh, it worked. All right, we're back in business. I mean, just doing stuff like that, making noise with the car is awesome, right? So anyways, like, yeah, I didn't have the rims, the original rims, but the rims that I have look pretty good. They have a couple scuffs here and there from the previous person, not me. Again, that's something if I kept this for lifetime, then yeah, I would actually, I've looked on like AmericanMuscle.com, I think is what it was. And you can buy the replicas. I don't know if you could it would probably be extremely hard to get the original rims for this car, but the replicas that I've seen actually look really good. So I wouldn't mind doing something like that down the road if I kept this car. That's basically it. The only other thing that's kind of missing as well is, again, when that front end issue happened with the splitter, it also scratched some of my decal on the front. And again, maybe I just picked the wrong place to take this car to. Sounds like I did now that I'm talking about it out loud. But they couldn't replace part of the decal because the racing stripes, because they couldn't find the factory for it. I guess those were like essentially discontinued, and the ones that they could find didn't like perfectly match, which I'm kind of like wondering. I mean, this car being black with a matte black decal, I don't think would have mattered that much. And I'm pretty sure it would have been very close enough. And I say that because when I get out and I do the walk around and show you where it's missing, it's almost not even noticeable. That's another reason why I think they paid me out for that too. And I just haven't really got around to ordering it because, one, we've been busy. But it literally, if this car was any other color with it, or if, let's say, if it was black with a white pinstripe, it would probably be really noticeable. Having the black pinstripe, and this is where the backup camera actually comes in real. It's really handy. Got a backup in between my truck and my Tesla. But yeah, like I'll do a quick walk around, gosh, as I'm getting really close to the Expedition. I'll add a clip for it. But yeah, it's really not that noticeable. I would rather have the, the front end splitter before I get the decal. I'm not too worried about that. But this car is very clean, even on the outside. There's no dents. There's literally one little chip by my door, and it's like a needle. Like, it's so small. Matter of fact, let's just grab some of this stuff real quick. Okay, so I'm working with the gimbal now. Hopefully it looks pretty good. But so like right here, if you can see it, this part of, so whoever had this, they added like this is carbon fiber, or I don't know, it's probably faux carbon fiber, I'm sure. This down here as well was added to match, but it got sunburned, so it's faded a little bit as well. The only other main like issue with the car right here, so again, it got like sunburned, and the paint started to fade right there, unfortunately. I feel like that's something that probably could get fixed pretty easy, because I think that's literally the only part that I've ever seen on this car. I mean, shoot, you could probably get this piece taken off and have it like repainted, and it may not be, maybe a couple $100 or something like that. That's literally the only part in the car physically. Like, this stuff you could replace. This is not even OEM or original for the car, so yeah, you could replace that. It just got chipped, but those were there before I bought it. Same with the rear diffuser right there. The part I was mentioning over here on the side of the car, let's see, I think it was literally right there, is a very small little chip. And I do like the looks of this car because, like, this was added on. That's not factory. That piece is added on as well. Talking about the front, I think this was originally this must have all came together. So like, the piece, what do you call that? On the rear spoiler, the rear diffuser, because this had the carbon fiber look, but as you can tell, it's like really, really faded. But again, it looked like that when I got it. But I wasn't too worried about that. I mean, I can replace that. I've even thought about just painting it myself because it's already jacked up anyways. Like, why not just try to paint it and see what it looks like? But this is what I was talking about on the front end. This one, I got to push this back in. But so the stripes are supposed to come. I know the sun's kind of cutting in a little bit. So the stripes is supposed to come literally all the way down, which means it would so it breaks and then it comes here, and then it does even go to this one. So that's the only pinstripe that's missing now, but it was because it had gotten, so it came down right here and right here, but it got scraped up pretty good when my front my front end piece got jacked up, and so they pulled it off, and they even repainted the bumper and everything like that. So it does look good, but as you can tell, I'll have to put another, if I have one of my older pictures of the diffuser that was on there, man, it made it look really good, because I think it came with the set of everything else, and it was also like that faux carbon fiber, but it did look really good because it stuck out pretty far. It hung a little bit low, but yeah. So, and I do like the carbon fiber, those added pieces right there in the middle. Those are not stock either. Same with down there. So, but yeah, I mean, extremely fun car. It's like there's a gouge right there on that rim. Yeah, right there. That was there when I got it, unfortunately. This car had some really aggressive tires on there. I think that's the only rim that had that issue. They had basically like drag racing tires on there, like extremely aggressive, not meant for like your daily driving or anything. And while they were fun, and I'm pretty sure I was able to get a lot more like torque and even some speed off the line, they were not comfortable. If I was on the freeway going like even 80, you just felt everything, and it was just, you know, even more vibration. Don't mind my messy garage back there. It is what it is. This is a functional garage. We have a gym on this side, you know, and then the car over here. So, and that's the other thing, last thing before I let this go. You know, my wife and I are very much into working out, and this car does take up some space. So we could have a really, you know, if I got rid of this and, you know, had the money saved, we could easily turn this into a legit garage gym. Now, again, I'm very appreciative of what we have. It's a very solid setup in here, but that's just something else that we've thought about. But yeah, this car is a lot of fun, man, and it's that's why it hasn't been an easy decision to say yes or no to keep it. So for the time being, we're keeping it. Haven't made any sort of decision, and I'm very methodical when I do make a decision. I'm not just going to, you know, I'm not going to do anything without thought. You know, I wanted this car for a long time. I got it. I'm not just going to get rid of it without, you know, having a very good reason for it. So, but yeah, let me know if we want some more POV driving. You know, maybe that'll help me keep it. I could start a channel with it, I suppose, and see how it takes off and do some other stuff with it. But great car, amazing car, actually. So, but yeah, thanks for watching. Let me know what you guys think.